Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is Prehistoric Facts special episode number 152. We're going to be talking about a prehistoric reptile today, and that prehistoric reptile is Dallasaurus. And so this is a artist rendition of Dallasaurus. It almost looks like a sculpture. I think this is also CGI, and so this is based off of a sculpture that is, I believe, that is actually still in a museum in Texas, if I remember correctly. So some information about Dallasaurus. Dallasaurus means Dallas lizard because it was found in Dallas. And length is 3 feet long, so approximately a meter. Weight is unknown. There's only 2 specimens that have actually been found and not very complete. Lived 92 million years ago in the late Cretaceous period. Found in Texas in the United States and described by Bell in 2005. So 15 years ago, this reptile was actually described and published. So on the upper left, in the upper left corner right here, we got the map of the United States. Dallas would actually be right around near the Gulf of Mexico, but it would actually be a little bit off the coast. So it would be kind of like in the eastern part of Texas. And then you got the larger image on the right here. This is the size chart, so you can see how big Dallasaurus really is compared to a human being. So it's a very small animal, so it's not really going to impress anybody in terms of overall size. And then the picture on the bottom left, this is the best picture I can find of a Dallasaurus skeleton, and this is, believe, from Southern Methodist, if I remember correctly. I think in Southern Methodist University. Um, so yeah, just anybody let me know where the fossils are actually kept of Dallasaurus. Is it in Southern Methodist or some other kind of university, or is it some other type of museum? So just let me know in the comment section. More information about Dallasaurus. It is actually part of the Mosasauridae, and of course, it is not like other mosasaurs, so it's actually going to be semi-aquatic. So it's living on both land and in the water. It has very small limbs, as you kind of saw in the picture earlier in the video. So it's got very small limbs, so it's probably not going to be on land too much. It's actually going to be in water majority of the time, but it will actually go on land whenever it needed to. Characteristics of it is basically other characteristics is a long body. They're almost kind of snake-like in a way, but they're kind of almost like a branch of their own, where Mosasauridae are, but they're kind of a branch off of, like, say, relatives of the monitor lizards and snakes. So that sort of thing. Does actually have some ancestral traits of Mosasaurus, so it actually will have its land ancestral traits. So it's actually got the limbs necessary to actually be able to be on land, but probably not the total musculature necessary to actually be on land for too long. But and of course, it actually has a long tail used for swimming. It's kind of almost paddle-like, and so we'll be using the tail and its body majority of the time to actually swim. If you watch a Komodo dragon swim, it actually uses its tail and its back limbs to actually help actually swim. And it's pretty amazing of like how monitor lizards can actually swim. So when you look at a monitor lizard swimming, you actually are looking at possibly how mosasaurs actually swam. So the environment in where Dallasaurus lived in, it was warm and humid. On land, there was actually a bunch of trees, ferns, cycads, and flowers, and of course, no grass. And in the waterways it actually lived in, it lived in rivers, lakes, and also in the seas. Probably stayed near the shallows, though. And of course, there was a lot of animals around at the time of Dallasaurus. There was insects on land. There was fish in the water, in the rivers, lakes, and also in the ocean. Cephalopods, both in freshwater and in saltwater. Amphibians, mostly in freshwater. Reptiles of all kinds, on land and in the ocean. Of course, you got your marine reptiles there. Birds were actually flying around at that time as well. Pterosaurs were around, and dinosaurs, and of course there were sharks. And sharks are part of the fish family, so I just kind of consider them as a separate part of this fish lineage. So let's talk about some predators and prey of Dallasaurus. So the prey of Dallasaurus would actually be fish, cephalopods, and probably some insects as well, as they actually had the diet necessary to actually feed on insects if they could. Now, cephalopods and fish are actually going to be their favorite things to eat. So the cephalopods like squid, many small ammonites, and of course tons of fish, like mainly the smaller fish. Occasionally they will actually probably go after probably say a foot long fish, but they actually will need a little bit of extra help, but that's why they got the expandable jaws. Now, predators of Dallasaurus. Dallasaurus is small enough to actually be considered prey, and so be prey to sharks, marine reptiles, and of course small theropod dinosaurs, like say the raptor dinosaurs were actually roaming around on land. Raptor dinosaurs, a single one could actually eat Dallasaurus if it had to. And so, yeah, those are the predators and prey of Dallasaurus. The extinction of Dallasaurus is mostly going to be due to climate change, and so the climate was actually changing. And how this was happening is that the Western Interior Seaway was beginning to expand, and the Western Interior Seaway was going further inland than North America, and so a lot of the swampy estuaries and also the shorelines that Dallasaurus actually relied on disappeared, and so those areas ultimately became much deeper water and could not actually survive in those kinds of conditions. And of course, there were a lot of predators that would eat Dallasaurus, but Dallasaurus is actually the animal that would ultimately bring up to actually would evolve into the larger mosasaurs. And mosasaurs can be in all kinds of sizes. There's mosasaurs that are actually 3 feet long, and then you get the mosasaurs that are gigantic to, like, say, nearly 60 feet in length. And that's a pretty wide diversity of mosasaurs. And mosasaurs would become the top predators in the late Cretaceous, in the oceans. And that's saying something. And just how successful mosasaurs really were. And so here is the map of what the late Cretaceous 90 million years ago would have actually looked like. So where Dallasaurus would actually be living, it would be right around here. And so those areas would ultimately just be flooded. And so Dallasaurus could not survive those kinds of conditions. So the next episode will be on March 13th, 2020, and that'll be a Q&A episode. So if you got any questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com. Otherwise, go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you actually post your questions on the wall or in the comment section. And also for YouTubers out there, give the video a like and also subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so that way you can actually keep up to date with every single episode that actually gets aired. And also put your questions in the comment section, and let's actually get to 300 subscribers, people. So let's share the videos to, like, your friends, your family, or anybody interested in paleontology. Let's actually get that number to 300 subscribers, so that way we can actually get a much bigger audience in here. And also keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. It's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you. And also, for your younger people out there, to make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education. So with a good education, you get a good job in the future. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.